because you're here, let's just do you first, Tay. I'm mainly asking about decision making, which is kind of a lot, but or it can encompass a lot rather, but okay. And yeah, I guess I never quite ended up addressing the thing. If you meant to send in 9, I have 9, and you accidentally sent me an extra half a game. So, should all be good. I have 9 games. They're all the Komodo Swag Dragon set, so should be good. It's reasonable round start. So, where is it? There. Right here. One of the things I see... First game doesn't matter too much, okay. One of the things I see Peacock players do, which works a little bit better versus characters like Beowulf or Cat without a projectile. You're holding M item before they've even started approaching, which feels a little bit weird to me. You can do H item to keep them in the corner, and then you'll have it back up for M as they're approaching. It's a little bit later, so I can understand why you'd want to do it, especially versus Bayo, but just a very small thing. One thing, it was your turn after you blocked that brass because you land cancelled it. You could have just kind of pressed a button and stuffed the Beowulf from doing much. Good block, good punish. Brass. Avoiding brass. Good air throw. Do DHC? Wrong DHC, but I'm assuming that's just character unfamiliarity.
That's
oh, hello. So
very strange thing that Tay did.
yes. I paused. Oh my. No. Stream, please. Are we live?
Stream being weird. Oh.
My upload is randomly getting shot. It was at the start of the stream.
Oh.
It's been consistent for a while, but I just saw my stream freeze for a second, and I'm terrified now.
Oh no.
But so far we're good. When it comes, I paused it right here because you did the launcher on the assist, which allows you to do something called a Suki cancel. So you can jump cancel into a lot of different things, but one of the things this game lets you do is jump cancel into block. So you can launcher the assist, hold neutral jump specifically, and then you can immediately hold backward and you'll start blocking because your jump squat canceled the end leg of your launcher. And so that's one thing you could have done here to keep yourself safe. I don't think we have many bans here, Cat Pie. Boy. I don't think we wanted that fireball.
Fireball. Why are we running forward?
Yeah, I was just about to say, in this matchup, you don't have to do anything. You can play the runaway game. And I know you like being a little bit more of an aggressive Kua, but as long as you're not backing yourself up into the corner, playing the runaway game is fine. Good punish. Oh, that... yeah. Sad. Yeah. Mash, DHC, go. Yep. Yo-Yo kind of summed it up. And that assist call was also sketchy, and it got your character killed. The one thing I will say, as if you want to be a more disrespectful or cheeky and aggressive Fuqua, if you notice people are down backing and calling an armored or a DP assist, or just in general a way to deal with some of the more common neutral controlling assists like brass or lock and load, just throw out armored throw as they're approaching you with the assist behind them. It catches a lot of people. And I saw a couple times you could have done it with the Bella just down backing in front of your face behind band.
In the immortal words of and acting like you won't get command grab.
It works until it doesn't, and then you can kind of stop. But as weird as it might sound, I honestly think the armored throw is just as good a reversal as her drill, if you're using it in the right scenarios.
True.
They're both throw vulnerable, so
Yeah.
the one thing you need to keep in mind is the armored throw you cannot super special out of. They're super special, super cancel out of.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an option.
It's definitely worthwhile showing it even just once, because then you just got the conditioning down.
Aggressive Fuqua is not unusual. It actually is probably the more common one you see, besides Hydra. Because I want to say Sonic and Dawn, who are probably two of the most like tournament participant Hydras Fuquas outside of Hydra, play pretty aggro. And then you have people like JP and Hydra who play Zony, especially if they have assist to facilitate it / mid-range game.
What does pre-hit mean?
I don't know.
Pre-hit
Oh, I
is-
think he means before Fuqua gets the hit, which
or
she has
before-
pretty good neutral cat pie. I don't know.
I don't know. You need to refight my Fuqua then. We'll have these opinions. What do you say? Hit me though, because I don't understand actually.
Oh, because she can't high-low you, she can just command throw you, and if you're down backing, you start taking massive amounts of damage. Yes, she needs to spend meter to convert, but she's not necessarily... like, she makes a reasonable amount of meter in neutral.
Oh, for Fuqua to what, like the effort required?
He's saying because she can't high anyone besides band, they could just down back, but she has command throws, so I don't really understand. And yes, she has to spend meter, but then she's still gotten the hit. I don't
Not
know.
necessarily. Not necessarily. Those are not the two options that she always has to commit to, and it's never that black and white.
Yeah, you have some opinions, Campai.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's kind of a gross oversimplification, but like, yeah. What you're saying does make sense.
I mean, but she's you said it yourself, she's a great on-hit character, so if she needs to command throw once with that one super, she's gotten the hit she needed. Like, I
Right.
don't understand. The way you're stating it, she needs to open you up once, and then she gets to kind of just twerk all over you. Okay, we pressed a button.
Pressing buttons.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Tay
Oh,
said
it's
they
like-
weren't as concerned about
Huh?
the team games.
Yeah, but that was Hey, Dad. Kind of looks good. We need to spend the bar though. Okay. Ooh, down back. Okay.
I don't think Fuqua has a harder time than a lot of the cast opening people up. Oh my god, we're mashing.
Oh my god, you did that. Okay. And you tag out? You're crazy. That would have been a command grab situation right there, actually, because you can frame tap.
Oh my god, that hit the assist. Didn't keep yourself
the
safe
thing with
though.
Fuqua is that she's got a lot of options to be able to frame trap you with, but nothing is particularly safe. If you're hitting on a heavy move with Fuqua, it's on purpose.
Everyone has a hard time opening people up compared to Misfortune. That's
Yeah. Misfortune has the easiest. She's 5-frame jab gamer.
like,
Get in there.
yeah, you can't do that with brass coming. Again, he's down backing a lot when Brass is coming. You could try and throw him here. You kind of went to your block string, but if you see Brass coming, and a lot of people with Brass or DP assists will do this, they'll just down back and wait for the assist to force you to block. If you throw them, it catches them a lot.
Actually, can you roll back like 4 clicks?
Bearish, or a little bit more?
A little more. Like right when he gets hit by the Brass. I love how the engine is still Hey. Oh, that was really weird. It was like I almost respect it for being an empty jump, but it's like, I mean, Hemlo doesn't necessarily have good air. Oh no, I wonder what that was.
That's not a great incoming. Oh.
Oh, that's funny though.
Very sad. We can talk about this later, Kappa. I don't want to like have the entire VoD review distracted by opinion conversation.
That's interesting that we decided to go forward with Peacock.
Yeah.
Peacock said I'll just go backwards. They start with like JHP, JHK.
But at the same time, there's not much he can do. Fukuo raw tag is a hard call out that does not work versus almost any of Beowulf's options.
Yeah, like you need to set up the tag actually because you can 50-50 and the right setup.
Like, it works if they're trying to do funny stuff over your air and they have big hitboxes, so if Eliza's like calling assists and dashing all over you.
Oh, hey, wait, what? So this is actually a moment where you don't actually want to set ASAP, because you're going into the mid screen. You want to do as most damage as possible.
Yep.
Or snapping out, or just spending all your meter, which is a viable thing. There's no way you're gonna be able to side like we do right here. Hey, but we already said.
Oh, that worked.
That was actually not bad. That was really cool. Like actually.
Oh man. Wait, actually, so I want to go back here. Why did we reset here? Did you just not? We also used our jab for IPS. I can kind of see it, but we could have full comboed and DHC'd out to kill rather than reset and risk getting mashed on.
Oh, that's not the right one.
Yeah, their P and Umbi are a little bit new, so. Yeah, they know yo-yo. It's just misinputs, not quite knowing which grip. Yep. Oh, they forgot. Oops. What were we pressing? Different punches send at different distances.
Oh, we didn't burst.
Bursting is almost always your friend on Peacock. Having an opponent full screen is chef's kiss.
Mightily huge for you as the zoner of the game. Start zoning and do your shenanigans. Whereas anyone else that honestly doesn't benefit from.
Okay, now we've gone to solo Kua. Violence. Up forward boy. Does that beat hop dash round start?
What?
Up forward boy.
Forward boy would be popular? Potentially. Yeah, to be pretty hard. Yeah. For grippy, that's kind of weird. I guess it's more of an analysis of our state position.
It's just off round start. They did up forward boy, and I'm like,
yeah, it's not
grip.
It's not horrible. Like
yeah.
Kind of saying out of normal if they're nowhere near. That's kind of that's potential conversation.
Good tech.
Hey, that was really good. Hey, you already in the
Oh
corner?
no!
Oh, why were we resetting? No!
I think it was just a panic drop. Punish BFF? Oh, or that, yeah.
It could be a pet.
Snap.
Shadow would also work. Snap is a good idea. Oh, they didn't. Okay.
Yeah. I like
I
it,
would not have super.
although, the thing you really need to keep in mind here is Band can parry that. So if you want to actually, like, 100% guarantee he isn't parrying it, living, and then tagging out to someone else, use M Shadow. He cannot parry a hit grab. M Shadow into Fireball guarantees the chip damage if he blocks M Shadow.
Also, a good plan of attack if they block the fireball and the fireball super is the L Shadow.
Oh my god, that's unfortunate. You're doing
Hey, we almost had the hit.
you're doing a pretty good job chicken blocking a lot of these assist calls. And I'm not entirely sure if it's just you jump a lot and it ends up working, or if you're doing it intentionally.
It's a lot of jumping. Oh, rip. Oh, counter hit twice. True. You're kind of running yourself into the corner.
Yeah.
Pretty hard.
You're pushing them into the corner and then jumping yourself into the corner because your jump heavy kick misses. Something to be thinking about.
I would say jump less. You don't necessarily have to be in the air. Any of the characters can
Oh,
hey, oh, that almost dropped.
You
That
salvaged
was
it.
Severe. Oof.
just keep in mind if you're playing versus characters like Squiggly, Parasol, Fortune, with really long reaching lows, it will catch you a lot.
I'm sorry. That was a beautiful idea. I mean, we just barely built the business, so I guess it's acceptable. Or we just kind of do everything possible. Nice.
Don't think we need her to
I
spend
need
the
you to
bar.
get used to not spending the bar if you don't need to.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there are arguments to be made for spending the bar and having Undesi for incoming, but I would argue it's not the case here. You also lost the corner by doing that command throw.
Oh,
Too late.
they just didn't. Yeah, they just realized it.
And although Fuqua does have command throws, in the corner her normal throw is not bad. And it lets you to convert.
True. Actually, really good. Normal throw. It's like one of those few cases where normal throw in the game is actually better than character.
Oh, that could have been a punish.
Also, you're a double jump character, so any of the resets that Bella does to you in the corner, you literally invalidated by something you get.
Grip.
That's grip.
We already had the overhead Clona out, and then we went for the instant overhead jump. There's not really a reason to double up on highs.
Tap by please. I said it was good.
You start the game with 1 meter, and if you only need to get 1 hit, she gets the hit, does a combo that gets her a reasonable amount of meter back. Wow.
Yay. Crazy.
Especially because love darts are pretty good for getting
Dart's
meter.
so good. And the fact that you can whiff a dart and still build meter is kind of ridiculous. Oh, the birthday almost.
Oh, why are we... we
Wait,
didn't
what?
get that much damage.
Huh? I guess we'll put a note right here. Probably don't snap unless you've made like a significant amount of headway.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand wanting to get rid of the band, but I'd honestly argue the Bella is more crucial to the team here. But this messes up order more, so there are discussions to be had.
Oh, jump. Oh, it's not the frog. I actually normally we don't use the air supers, like unless we're trying to do some shenanigans. Like most of our air normals or her air supers.
Nice.
Don't have any hit stuff on them, so you can get hyper punish. So you gotta be careful. Especially because you can't act out of them when you're following it afterwards. Hey, oh, Grippy? What? Double Grippy. Good job! Oh God. Oh, you're touching Bane's face.
Yeah, we just kind of went.
That was a good drill, but that's punishable.
Kind of just ran into the waiting arms of Beowulf at round start.
Game, but GeForce game ready drivers available.
I think we need one mix off then. Or snap for health, yeah.
This is acceptable. You could also have prepared an M shadow.
Yep.
Done the snap. Can you combo it?
Oh no!
Oh, stop blocking. That push block, that was not Eight. 5 meters.
Does this work?
We could have just level 3. Wait, why
Yeah.
did we let you go away? What? That's not your time. No, that's not your time to be using fireball. But I guess because they're going to commit to the thing,
They could just arm.
That was just.
Yeah.
That was really weird.
That was a whole lot of spaghetti. There's a point I wanted to make.
Questionable. Very questionable.
But it's lost.
Yeah.
Thank you, brain. Oh! The one point I wanted to make is, especially as Kua, because she's somewhat of a spacing character, you can use like drastic changes in your play to catch people off guard. And so being completely like monotone aggressive can be effective and can overwhelm people. But if every now and then they're like giving you so much respect that you just get to set up zoning nicely for like a second or two and then force them to go, oh, I need to approach, and then you can start checking them aggressively with big buttons again, can make it a lot harder for your opponent to figure out the pace of the game. And so this is how Hydra and myself play Parasol a lot. Although I tend more towards aggro, he tends more towards zoning. Kua can do very similar things, where she sets up a shadow and a dart to force them to kind of like think, oh, how am I approaching? And then you can either continue zoning or just say, I'm up forward buoying you and catching you pressing a slower button. And it will probably help you a little bit more than just constant aggression. You're pretty heavily zoning until you actually get a hit yo-yo.
Yeah, and then you just try to go in, which is fair.
I mean, Parasol on hit has a good mix, but...
Tay, that is only true if he's blocking.
Yep.
Not necessarily if he's pressing a move.
And, he can just arm on reaction. Fireball super has very little, if not any, hit stop.
Oh no. Go.
Good push block.
Yeah, normal Ruby is hard aggressive. Ascended Ruby is definitely very much in the middle.
Good recognizing the range. Oh no.
Yeah, really good avoidance. Ow, ow. That was just slow.
Yeah. And we've... So one of the things about... Not fast enough. One of the things about the Beowulf matchup is he has a ton of different ways to set up hop dash safe jumps. And one of the ways you can condition a Beowulf is actually on their offense. If you mash DP enough to encourage them to do the safe jumps, all of a sudden you can just hold down back, or it's neutral jumper up back because the safe jumps are high,
Oh,
and
we
then
were
push block them out. Yeah, we just got hit by contra.
We were pressing forward.
But I'm saying that mainly because you've been getting safe jumped a lot and getting punished for mashing. Once it starts becoming their default option, you know they're going high and can abuse that.
Yeah, it seems the kind of approach that I'm taking right now is that we're like, here's a shadow, now let me run forward. Here's a fireball, now let me run forward. Just stay where you are. Good where you are.
Very good anti-air. That gripped.
It's pretty far actually. Hey. Oof, you were too far away to try to do the SHP right there. I would have just kept running. You would have made it. Would have made it in time to punish.
Anti-airing Bella is ambitious.
Oh, why are we running forward? Hey.
Oh, we're really struggling to block the concha.
Oh.
Oh no!
Hey, we jumped. Jumping is good. At that point, you were gonna mix, team. Are you gonna mix?
That's not a
no.
block string.
No, that's bad. -11 move. Hey. You should not be. If you don't got the light fleet, do not apply.
So this is especially true for the Bella matchup. I cannot encourage you to approach a Bella because if you're predictable in any way, shape, or form, or she just guesses right, the amount of different ways she has to check and approach is ludicrous. And her ranges are bad, and she's bad at running people down. So if you can run away from a Bella, it is almost always going to be the correct choice, if you have the life lead. Bella is a scary character to actually run at. Which is why I hate playing Fortune into Bella.
Yeah. Oof. Get impatient, game. For the sake of your life, please run away.
And again, this is a situation where a normal throw would have been just fine. It's, what, like 1 frame slower?
Yes.
Yeah, it's...
We kind of spent bar unnecessarily here. Just do the combo.
There we go. We got the throw.
That was really good, though.
Yeah.
Wow. You challenged the Bella up for
Oh, no.
We're spending bar. Oh, Lord. Hey. Oh, thank God. No. True.
That was a miss of the DP.
No, I think we're trying to do up forward. Yeah, there.
Oh yeah, it could be a good block. Getting used to it.
That was a good idea. You could have followed it up with a super. Yeah, this is not necessarily Fuku's domain. There's a lot of pressure. You just got very lucky there.
Grip. Yeah.
Hey. True. Faster L George without the L George problem. Ooh.
Oh, you can punish that.
I could have fallen buttons. That's a punish. Hey.
But yeah. And again, returning to the changing paces, if you go into zoning and then force the band to think, or the Bella to think, oh, I need to run at them, and I need to do it quickly because there's time pressure, etc., they can start aggressively trying to take away space, which puts them at risk to then you again, like up forward boy, checking them doing a bad approach, or just stand heavy punch M dart BFF. I don't know if you know that hit confirm. But all stuff like that is really good at slowing down the pace of people's approaching you and getting a hit confirm off of it if they're not blocking it.
The coolest part about the band matchup there, and especially if you're zoning out from like 3/4 to full screen, it gives you an opportunity if they try to like hard call out you with like a brass into SSJ, a fireball into BFF cancels everything, or L Shadow into BFF cancels everything. So, like, even if they try to like approach you in that sense, you've always got an option there.
Yeah. Shadows and neutral are pretty awkward to use. I'm honestly not great at it either. My clue is still baby.
I guess for me, a rule of thumb, whenever I'm playing Fugu and I'm trying to use shadows like in between my fireball tossers, kind of think about where you are on the screen. So if I'm the furthest possible away, or like about like more than round start distance, I'm using M Shadow. If I'm slightly under that, I use L Shadow. And if I'm slightly closer than that, I use A Shadow. Do I run into band?
Yeah.
Every now and again, yeah, I do. Yeah, like this, that was bad.
Especially because Komodo's shown they're willing to mass SSJ. Throw in Shadow into just armored command throw. It's really good at calling out people trying to mash on you.
Resetting it a little too early, especially if you're going to be doing like Shadow Lift combos. You need to press a lot of buttons. Not all, but all. Like if you're not doing the optimization station with the optimal starter and doing the Shadow Lift stuff, you have to be building up a little more.
I can understand you wanting to get rid of all of Bayo's support. One thing I will say, as someone who also enjoys like snapping to break up team orders, still having a good incoming set up afterwards is pretty important to make that meter actually worth it. Because one of the best parts about snapping is getting the incoming, because if you are able to set up for an incoming, you're set up in advantage. When you're getting the first hit string mid-screen and not doing any corner carry, anything, you're kind of just letting Band come in neutral, which is still not great for him versus Kua, but it could be a whole lot worse for him. If you know you're somewhat close to the corner, you are gonna, if you opt to corner carry slightly and then snap, you will give them a little bit of red health to heal in the background, but you will then make it so much harder for that Band or that whoever else is coming in for incoming to get out of the corner. Yeah, just think about, because I used to do the exact same thing when I would be playing versus Doc, a little bit versus Mao as well, as I just snap in the Band, and then I realized, oh, they kind of just get to play the game now. Whereas if you corner carry slightly, get set up in the corner, and then actually do a reasonable opening, them puts them immediately in disadvantage. It makes the game a whole lot easier for you. Yeah. Because breaking team order is great, but you're still spending a meter for next to no damage. So you need to make that meter as worth it as possible.
That means you gotta use all your buttons. Use all your buttons into snap.
And I would. Oh, what?
Oh, what?
Was that the end of the replays? I guess it was. Oh, I didn't even notice. I was like, wait, these are parasols. Oh, that's my name. And I honestly, I don't like doing a full combo either. I don't know if you have a specific reasoning for doing the entirety of the combo. I still like having some Indizzy to play with for incoming. And that's my reasoning for it. So once I have the distance to set up for an incoming, that's what I'm thinking to snap. Doing a full combo and then ending it with snap just feels really awkward to me. But I don't know what your opinion is on that, GP, because I think you think slightly differently.
I'm usually either doing like a full combo or doing like up to 200 or 220 on Dizzy and then snapping.
Okay.
So like there's a little bit of leeway.
Yeah.
It kind of depends like where I am on the screen versus like if I'm closer to the corner or not.
Okay, yeah. I think we're somewhat on the same page. I just might be a little bit more greedy than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, it seems like this varies a lot from player to player.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, for decision making, I think there were a couple things we talked about a lot. So the snapping was one. Breaking up team order, especially for someone who crutches on particular assists, such as Baoban teams, perfectly fine. Think about when you're spending the meter a little bit more, so the corner carry, etc. I think the other main thing we harped on was just constantly running forward. And we talked about that in two separate ways. One, some matchups, it just isn't necessarily beneficial to you to approach, and you sometimes went over aggressive and jumped over them, putting yourself into the corner you just boxed them into. The other part was me talking a little bit about changing the pace of your play, just swapping from zoning to aggressive quickly, which can help you catch more people off guard. And that's something for you to try out. I'm not going to tell you this is how you're supposed to play the game, because you can just run at people and win sometimes. Although as a solo, it's a lot harder to do because you don't have assists to make your pressure that much more scary. But yeah, I think those are the two main things for decision making.
Yeah.
And you're the Kua lad, so do you have any burning observations?
Burning observations. There seems to be like a lot of just kind of. I don't want to call it flailing, but it's just like kind of placing what your buttons are in space and what you're doing. It's like there's like a couple times where you do preemptive JHK and that kind of like not the greatest plan because then you're kind of putting out a hurt box and just kind of take advantage of that. Up forward, the boy is always nice, but it's not something you always want to commit to. Because JHK by itself is a lot better than doing 2 hits at the start of an airstring. There's that. Up forward grippy, not always a great plan. If anything, if you get launched into the air, you've got a double jump. So a lot of mix that would normally work on people who can't jump does not work on Fukua. So you have plenty of opportunities to escape. Aside from that, I guess that's kind of like a more of a personal thing for me. I'm not too fond of resetting early. Like I like to build a little bit of a Nizzy before I toss my resets out for Fukua because as a low damage character in the game, it's worthwhile to kind of do as much as you can before you start to reset into BFF because scaling drops pretty fast as soon as you go into BFF. So like if you go into BFF, you're at 55%, and then you do 1 hit and then go into grip, and then you're scaled to 50%. It's kind of not great for you. So you kind of have to capitalize post BFF to make sure you're kind of doing as much as you can before you reset again. So for me, I would say probably don't reset too early too often. But like, well, yes, yeah, Fukuo's low damage in if you're doing shadowless stuff. But if you're committed to doing the finger twistery stuff, he can explode people.
She can front load damage with 2 heavy punch and sweep if you're able to do the shadow stuff to get towards that. It really helps you front load damage, allowing you to be a little bit more flexible with your mix.
Yeah. Otherwise, you could just be like Dawn, who it doesn't do that much shadow stuff. It just the start of their combo is the shadowless, and then they go into whatever basic mix there is, and then they do like the basic shadow mix.
Yeah. Shadow stuff is fun. It's just frustrating to get used to.
Yeah, you gotta figure out what your fingers are
from experience.
In place.
That's fair.
That's fair.
And for me, to answer your prior question, your Fukua feels towards like the middle range of our intermediate. It's like you kind of know what you're doing. you're pressing good buttons in situations. Sometimes we just have a question mark, like, what are you thinking when you opted into this?
Right. When you landed the stand heavy button.
But yeah,
Were you,
overall, not
when you were
bad.
in the air doing air super and managed to confirm in your assist, was that on purpose?
100% calculated. I don't know what you're talking about.